Welcome back. Today's quotable perspective is brought to you by the late Billy Graham. If you have not already, please subscribe for more inspiration. Let's begin. There comes a moment when we all must realize that life is short, and in the end, the only thing that really counts is not how others see us, but how God sees us. No matter how dark and hopeless a situation might seem, never stop praying. The farther we get from God, the more the world spirals out of control. The greatest legacy one can pass on to one's children and grandchildren is not money or other material things accumulated in one's life, but rather a legacy of character and faith. The way we live often speaks far louder than our words. God is unchanging in His love. He loves you. He has a plan for your life. Don't let the newspaper headlines frighten you. Being judgmental and condemning is not one of the gifts of the Spirit. Don't let failure or disappointment cut you off from God, or make you think that the future is hopeless. When God closes one door, He often opens another door, if we seek it. God will never send anybody to hell. If man goes to hell, he goes by his own free choice. Prayer is more than a wish. It is the voice of faith directed to God. It is not the temptations you have, but the decisions you make about them that count. The legacy we leave is not just in our possessions, but in the quality of our lives. When life is hard, it's easy to focus only on the bad things and forget all about the good things God has given us. God has blessed every one of us in ways we often overlook. No matter who you are or what your life has been like so far, the rest of your life's journey can be different. Each life is made up of mistakes and learning, waiting and growing, practicing patience, and being persistent. You will never understand who you are until you understand who God is. There is nothing wrong with men possessing riches. The wrong comes when riches possess men. Prayer is the rope that pulls God and man together, but it doesn't pull God down to us, it pulls us up to Him. Love your children and let them know you love them. Children who experience love find it far easier to believe God loves them. Someday your life will be over, no matter how much attention you give to your health. Will you look back with regret because you nourished your body but starved your soul? Every day without exception is a gift from God, entrusted to us to use for His glory. If you don't make a decision, then time will make it for you, and time will always side against you. You cannot build a superstructure on a cracked foundation. Truly, God works in mysterious ways. The wheels of His mercy and justice move quietly, but they do move. Only God can change the heart of someone who is in rebellion against Him. No matter how logical our arguments or how fervent our appeals, our words will accomplish nothing unless God's Spirit prepares the way. Integrity means that if our private life were suddenly exposed, we'd have no reason to be ashamed or embarrassed. Integrity means that our outward life is consistent with our inner convictions. Suffering in life can uncover untold depths of character and unknown strengths. The secret of a happy home is that members of the family learn to give and receive love. Like a spring of pure water, God's peace in our hearts brings cleansing and refreshment to our minds and bodies. Why should we give God thanks? Because everything we have comes from God. Our afflictions would trouble us much less if we knew God's reason for sending them. Joy cannot be pursued. It comes from within. It is a stage of being. It does not depend on circumstances, but triumphs over circumstances. Forgiveness does not come easily to us, especially when someone we have trusted betrays our trust. And yet, if we do not learn to forgive, we will discover that we can never really rebuild trust. Even when life may be difficult, we should thank God for all He does for us, which we do not deserve. It may be difficult to understand why a test comes our way, but we must never forget that the test is accomplishing refining and purification. I can tell you that God is alive because I talked to Him this morning. Talk about God can become dreary and lackluster if God isn't in you. I think that hell, essentially, is separation from God forever, and that is the worst hell that I can think of. Many invest wisely in business matters, but fail to invest time and interest in their most valued possessions, their spouses and children. Kindness is an essential part of God's work and ours here on earth. Prayers have no boundaries. They can leap miles and continents and be translated instantly into any language. If we have no mercy towards others, that is the one proof that we have never experienced God's mercy. Man has two great spiritual needs. One is for forgiveness, the other is for goodness. Life without God is like an unsharpened pencil. It has no point. We cannot truly face life until we face the fact that it can be taken away from us. A coach will impact more people in 1 year than the average person will in an entire lifetime. The older I get, the more important the eternal becomes to me personally. Right is right, and wrong is wrong, in small things as well as in big things. No matter what you might be going through, God has blessed you far more than you probably imagine, with family, with freedom, and with the ability to enjoy His gifts. Suppose you could gain everything in the whole world and lost your soul. Was it worth it? Love is to the heart what the summer is to the farmer's year. It brings to harvest all the loveliest flowers of the soul. What shall it profit a man or a woman who gains the whole world but loses his or her own family? There is not a flower that opens, a seed that falls onto the ground, an ear of wheat that nods on the end of its stalk, that does not preach and proclaim the greatness and mercy of God to the whole world. The most eloquent prayer is the prayer through hands that heal and bless. Life is a glorious opportunity. It is used to condition us for eternity. All mankind is crying out for guidance, for comfort, for peace. Prayer is speaking to God, but sometimes He uses our times of prayerful silence to speak to us in return. If there are any tears shed in heaven, it will be because we prayed so little. Envy and greed starve on a steady diet of thanksgiving. True greatness is not measured by the headlines a person commands or the wealth he or she accumulates. The inner character of a person, the undergirding moral, spiritual value and commitments, is the true measure of lasting greatness. The basic unit of any society is the home. When the home begins to break, the society is on the way to disintegration. The influence of a mother upon the lives of her children cannot be measured. They know and absorb her example and attitudes when it comes to questions of honesty, temperance, kindness, and industry.